Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. I wasn't sure we were gonna make it, but we did. We did, Ryan.
Man, I thought we all got zuckered today, man. It was a rough day out there.
Yeah, we were gonna push it off to tomorrow. We kind of scrambled around. AJ was flexible with us and was willing to slide back in here when Facebook came back to life today. So we're gonna make it happen. I know Ryan's out there in the Wild West trying to knock down some large predators. Maybe.
Yeah,
tomorrow,
I hung around here. We hung around the house and just kind of stared at each other today so we could do this podcast. And I wasn't sure if Facebook was going to come back up, and it did. And I was like, we kind of need to get this done tonight. I got one more day to make some magic happen out here.
Yeah, man. So we're here. We're here for you, Facebook. But just another reason, like I said before we came on, Ryan, that everybody needs to slide over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because if this happens again, who knows? We could just go live over there and you wouldn't miss a beat.
Or we can start a GoFundMe and we can build a KBN app, and then we'll be untouchable. Untouchable.
You imagine?
No. No, I can't.
Yeah, we got a huge show tonight, man. We had AJ was gracious enough to share a part of the BOS schedule with us tonight. We're going to drop that for you. We're going to talk a little year in review with the BOS regular season, and of course the TOC coming up. We always love talking to AJ. He's been on quite a few times. But before we do that, how about a little shout out to our sponsors?
Let's shout them out. Of course, presented by the -- kayak fishing outfitter in the entire nation, Dugout Bait and Tackle, Marietta, Georgia. It says so right up top there. And then the beverage of choice, as you can see to my left, Western Sun Vodka has been a sponsor since the jump about a year ago now. We're glad to have them. And then last but not least, Revos sunglasses. We're actually doing the first edition of Throwing Shades Monday tonight, giving away a pair of shades to one lucky viewer. All you got to do. You won't be disappointed with these. Again, I mean, I know some people haven't even heard of them. Some people hadn't tried them. You will love these sunglasses. I've had them on all week out here running around. They're pretty good. So give it a share and see what you can get.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Like this cast, like the Facebook page, of course. Make sure you follow the Revo page and share the live stream. We're good to go. We'll pick somebody at the end of the show tonight. Let me throw this.
And if you just want to buy some, KBN 25 on the Revo side.
That's right. KBN 25 is going to save you some money if you want to get a pair, buy a pair. So hook that up. Throwing Shades Monday. We're going to do this at least once a month, along with some other giveaways we're working on. So we'll be trying to give back to you. I think Ryan said that a few weeks ago on the group page. You guys have helped us have fun doing this and grow this. We're going to help you. And isn't that from a movie? Help us, help you. Help me, help you.
I don't. It's like that or like UPS or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't know. Yeah. All right. So there you go. We love our sponsors. We appreciate them. So everybody, when you can, go support those guys that support us. Good stuff. So we'll give that away a little bit later in the show. But before we do that, what do we want to talk about, Ryan?
I don't know. I mean, what? So we had the KBF schedule drop. It looks like they're, we talked about them kind of focusing up on the Northeast and West Coast more, showing some love to those areas that might get skipped by the larger national trail stops.
had an interesting article that I was forwarded last night from some anonymous blogger that seems to have, I don't know if he's got a pin cushion made of me or some sort of sculpture on his nightstand, but that was flattering. I highly encourage anybody to do their due diligence and make sure and look at real numbers anytime you're trying to judge what's happening in a sport.
Yes. Yeah. Leave it to the obscure bloggers to throw eggs at what we're trying to do here.
Well, I love it.
Yeah. But you know what? I'd be willing to have that person on if they ever wanted to reach out and talk in person, talk live. We could talk to them maybe and hash some of this out. That'd be fun.
Not what I was thinking, but I'll go with it.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I doubt we'll hear from them,
You be good cop. I'll be bad cop.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it'd be civil, but it'd be fun. KBF dropped theirs. That was real interesting geographically how they did theirs. The All-American Series came out, and they went from being regional to national.
I noticed they're pushing pretty far. I think, was it Kentucky Lake I saw on there?
Yeah, and St. Clair was on there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're expanding. And, I mean, they have a lot of great feedback for what they're doing. I think they have, the right people running it. So, hats off to those guys. They're really, growing their market share and kind of expanding their boundaries as they see fit. I think that's a good space to be in.
Yeah, Tyler and Josh. I mean, Josh, I don't know if anybody on here follows the MOYAC group, the Missouri Kayak group, but Josh has just made that thing explode over the last couple of years, and they're averaging huge numbers in their local stuff anyway. So between him and Tyler, they got a good crew running that ship up there. And of course, we're going to hear about part of this BOS schedule tonight, and then the next shoe to drop, I guess, will be the Bass Nation schedule. We hadn't seen anything with that yet, but I'm sure it's coming soon. But the talk tonight, BOS, I know, Ryan obviously is a TOC champ. I focused my energy on the BOS schedule this year. A lot of other people did too. So they were anxiously awaiting the 22 one. We're going to get a little snippet of it tonight. I'm excited.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I don't think there's much else to talk about. What do you say we get AJ in here? I know he's.
Let's see him. Let's see the guy
out there on the East Coast, waiting patiently. AJ, what is up, my man?
What's up, fellas? How are y'all doing tonight?
Oh man, we're doing good.
AJ Mcwhorter's in the flesh.
That's right. Coming live from somebody's random office in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm in the first week of a 4-week road trip, running a lot of accounts through the East Coast, and maybe even have a little vacation at the tail end of this thing if I get lucky.
You won't do it.
It's scheduled, so I'm supposed to have a week on the Outer Banks in late October. So I've never been up there, so I'm excited, and hopefully I'll make it.
You will. Well, so
what do you guys,
how do you feel like? Oh, what?
I was just going to see what do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Well, I was going to say, how do you feel like, reflecting back on 2021? Obviously, this was a season that saw a lot of growth, and I think you hit some new waters, so to speak. And I mean, what do you think? What's your plus and minus on how the season went?
Well, I mean, this was the year that we were going to start having gatherings again and getting to feed our anglers on Friday night. And, we were just really excited to do all that. And, we just didn't turn that corner yet. Decided to play it safe throughout the rest of the year. And I think we made a good call on that, especially seeing some other events where folks were, having some health concerns and issues. So, we want to make sure everybody stays healthy in our events. It's not our preference to not have gatherings. This whole series was built from the Kentucky Lake event that we ran for 6 years, where it was really just a hangout and people fished for 6-7 hours, a couple of days. And it was a lot of fun. And, hopefully we'll be able to get back to that next year. That's when I'm talking to these communities. That's what I'm planning for. So hopefully everybody else is on board with that. But man, this season started with a bang. We went to Seminole in early February and had 175 people. We would have had 178, but 3 people didn't sign up on time, and I sent them back to wherever they drove in at, because that's how we do, man. We've got deadlines, and we honor that stuff around here. But 175 people, man, it was so good. It was so good to have that many people show up for the first event. Lake Seminole is an awesome fishery, and it showed out. You know, Brian Howe was already fairly well known, but he kind of became this like mythical creature after that event, man. And I can't wait to see. That's right. Can't wait to see him at the TOC and him, you know, compete for that Far Wide Angler of the Year prize. He's right up in there in the hunt. And, you know, then right after that, we essentially go and fish in the coldest weather that anybody's ever fished in on Watts Bar. And, you know, Lambert, you know, does his thing, man. You know, we changed the start times and, you know, to get people, you know, and I think that favored Lambert because, you know, normally he's getting
I'll
out there
take the later start.
Anyway. Yeah. So he gets out at 9 o'clock anyways, but it was a challenging event. And, you know, we were worried about that event from a number standpoint because of, it was literally like 10 degrees the first 2 mornings of the tournament. We had 90 something people show up. I mean, we had people get, you know, issues like Caroline and Krista Hibbs rolled in from Arkansas last minute and their black Hummer was completely white with salt, and, you know, just had, and their boats were different colors. They drove through so much ice and snow and stuff just to come and fish in horrible conditions. And yeah, it sucked all weekend. It was a horrible bite. Like there weren't even that many 5 fish limits, but, you know, that was kind of the, you know, not to take anything away from Ryan at that event because he won, but that was kind of like, hey, who's this curly haired redhead kid, Ewing or Edwin or whatever? Because he got second, and all of a sudden he was like a 2 paid events in his first 2 events, and we're all just like, whoa, like this kid, okay. And you know, that's kind of was the start of his run. Then we went to Broken Bow. You know, that was a tough one. It was kind of bad timing with weather and another event that was the next weekend, but we still had over 100 anglers show out for that. And Russ Snyder's was like, hey, I'm here to play again this year, and won that event. And really cool fishery out there. I think if we could hit it during a different time of year, it might show out a little bit better. And then April, you know, down to Dardanelle. Dardanelle's just, I mean, it's conveniently located. It fished pretty good. Had a good showing.
It's in Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know that's in Arkansas, right?
Ryan had fun at Dardanelle. He can't deny it either.
I did. I had such a good time at Dardanelle. I did. We found that little bar. We found an awesome shallow bite. I was very impressed. I'll take my hat off to Dardanelle. It was no Wachita.
That was the beginning of the lunch money big bass check run, I think, wasn't it?
Don't even remind me, dude. That's not a streak I was trying to continue.
Hey, man, catching the big bass in every tournament's not a bad deal. You know, then we switched. We went to Lake Hartwell. We did our annual partner with the Queen City Kayak Bass Fishing Club and showed out. We had 145 anglers, I think, and they had huge numbers for their event. And so many of their anglers just were littered in the top paid places. But it was Ewing Minor, got that W, smoked them both days. Man. And, you know, it just happened, man. It kind of put him on the maps. Like, all right, this guy's going to be in it this year. You know, he had like an 11th place, a second, and a first out the gate. June, we got to fish Sam Rayburn, flooded. Almost had to cancel that event. We decided that if there's ever a time to fish Sam Rayburn in kayaks, being 10 or 12 feet high with all the ramps closed down, it's probably not a bad time. And, you know, everybody that went to that seemed to have a really fun time way back in people's yards and way off the beaten path chasing bass. And, you know, we, you know, Brian Scarberry, he had a great event there and pulled it down.
Let me tell you something.
I want to eat a little crow on that one myself because, I mean, we got our little group chat on the side and we all talk about what's going on and shit. And people think that, and I've, you know, seen this, heard this, like I'm just out here, you know, carrying AJ around like on a pedestal. Like if I think that I have an issue with something, I'm never shy to voice it about a BOS series in or to AJ directly. I was nervous about Rayburn. I was afraid Rayburn was going to be something like what Chick was when we had that just freaking, that's in my head. That's what was playing out. I'm like, oh shit. Like we're going to be out here with freaking trees washing down rivers, like docks breaking off. Rayburn's a little different. It was a reservoir, so it just held all the water from everywhere. It actually turned out to be probably top 3 events that I fished this year as far as just accessibility and the way the lake set up. I had a blast out there. It was awesome. Good job, AJ. Thanks for not listening to me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. To me, I think Ryan, you and I both finished pretty close together, like around 30th or something like that. I don't know. So the finishes weren't the best, but it was so much. To me, it was one of the most fun events of the year because the lake was ours. There was hardly another boat on the water. It was just kayak anglers on one of the most pressured lakes in the United States. It was unbelievable.
There was a couple crappie charters out there, wasn't there, Ryan?
Yeah.
God, man. I ain't ever seen nothing like that. Them boys will pull up. I'm working a brush pile. They pull up just straight in front of you, making eye contact, son. All 60 of them cast their lines out. Thank you, Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, that was wild.
That's where Wide Dick Open came from. That's what right. Sam Rayburn gave to us. Thank you, Billy Bowden.
Quite a house there with Billy sleeping in the campground and halfway sleeping at our place. It was
and Ewing else on the couch. That was another check that Ewing cashed. Moving on up there at Rayburn, he called out his Seminole finish at Rayburn.
Yeah, I thought. Well, I know he had his next best finish down. Wasn't it? It was Susquehanna. I feel like that was kind of his final call.
He called that one. Yeah. Kid.
So he just kept doing it all year. But before we went to Susquehanna, we swung way northeast up there to the Ticonderoga area, Lake Champlain. Our first visit to the Northeast, Ike and Nelly was getting down. Ewing and Ike were going back and forth in that tournament the whole time. But it was
Smalley's Rule.
Smalley's Rule was born. Travis Von Neumann, man, and in the Jackson out there just beating up on him. And I think he, flipped his kayak all sorts of times and was just laughing it off because he was catching giant smallmouth on topwater. And just was an awesome story. And it was like our first legitimate fan that was cheering during the awards was his girlfriend that was there. She was his number one supporter. That was awesome. And she was literally screaming for him in a room full of 7 people for the awards. It was so exciting for everybody. It was awesome. It was cool to have that. And I'm ready for that to come back, man. That our award ceremonies are really anticlimactic. There's 10 people in there in the smallest rooms that you can imagine having an award ceremony. So I can't wait for us to bring it back and anglers can come back and, kind of lick their wounds together and support their friends that get to actually stand up there and hold checks and overcome the fishery for that weekend.
Yeah. I miss being pissed off at Shane for leaving early. I want to get back to that part where you can be mad at these guys for not staying to watch you get a check.
You guys seen the comments? There's a lot of talk of the beaver colored Chapo from that event as well. Forgot about that. The bait of choice.
I'm not seeing any comments.
Yeah, well, I won't put them.
I don't have a laptop, so I actually do have 5G. I don't have a laptop, so I'm good.
Yeah. There's some funny stuff going on. I won't throw them on the screen. But anyway, next on the list.
Oh.
Yeah, we went up to the Susquehanna, man. The one of the best fisheries in the entire country, and probably one of the best places to be in during the summer months. And we had 139 anglers. Everyone was catching. Had 50 smallmouth over 18 inches turned in. It was just banging out there. Juicy J Wallen figured out how to catch a fish with some flow. I mean, it was a lot of good stuff. And, Jody Queen just showed out, does what Jody Queen does and just dominates the river despite so many amazing anglers nipping at his heels the whole time.
Ewing, dude, him and Ewing were just trading licks. And I was fishing near Ewing and I was like, dude, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you just got beat by Jody Queen. He's like, no, I'm up by 3/4 of an inch. And I was like, I don't care. This, you're in the wrong place to be that close to Jody. This is over. I'm sorry. Back to back.
Yeah, no doubt.
Back to back.
And, that's challenging, man. Everybody's like, oh, it's Jody, but it doesn't matter. That's still challenging. The fishery changes every year. The anglers continue to get better. You know, and then also like people, you know, they're like, man, that was where Jody was fishing last year. You know, like that's people move in on spots. Like y'all know, you've been there.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to do it again, especially on a place like that. Any place really.
Would you say that's like a perennial powerhouse that Hobie would continue to go back to?
It's tough. It's tough to say. You know, there's not like I said, there's not many better places that you can go in the summer. But you know, variety is the spice of life, Ryan. I'd say you know that better than anybody.
Well,
you talking about the rods I throw? What are you trying to say?
Just in general, man. It's a good general saying. Yeah, variety.
good stuff.
All right.
So
moving on.
Went back to the Mississippi River. Awesome event up there, and you know, the Mississippi River. I mean, there's just been so many kayak tournaments up there, different times of year. It shows out. It showed out. We had 111 anglers. Huge step up from the year before. Love to see that area and that fishery growing. And you know, they caught them. It was a good event, and you know, I'd say, you know, us going back up there is you know, something that we'll, you know, consider down the road as well. And then we wrapped up Tennessee River, Lake Pickwick, just a few weeks ago. It seemed like forever ago, but it was literally just a couple weeks ago. And you know, Guillermo just absolutely smashed them, caught a ton of fish and the right ones. Christine had, you know, a good event, got second, and Scott getting third. So, you know, pretty powerhouse of a trio there. And you know, a good showing from that fishery. You know, some of the smallmouth that were turned in that event. Everyone wants to talk about how, you know, banging things are up north, but you know, those guys are catching, you know, 22. I mean, just giant smallmouth.
And we've had this conversation, you know, off to the side in our little group chat about, you know, smallmouth fisheries. And in springtime for me, the Tennessee River is my favorite play. You couldn't find another fishery in the world that will show out like the Tennessee River in spring. But I'll tell you, Jesse Halverson, he stayed in our house. He hyped up that smallmouth bite so much. You know, he was sure he was going to catch 100 inches. I thought he was completely overshooting himself. And then day two, he came out and freaking wrecked the giant smallmouth. He just put the video out on YouTube. I don't like pushing spammy YouTube links. That's something you want to watch. Watching those fish come up and just freaking explode on a fluke. Amazing. Good job, Jesse.
Yeah, I want to go back to lacrosse real quick. Something you mentioned lacrosse, AJ. The highlight of my year, since I didn't make the TSC, was AJ mentioned my name on day one in an update. So go ahead and mark that down as one check mark in the box for me.
I mean, that's just a good lesson right there for, you know, folks. That's why you want to submit your fish early. You never know when I'm going to go in on an update, and you never know if your, you know, total that's probably, you know, worth a 30 place or so is good enough to be in the top 10 at that moment. So get your credit. I mean, it made Jeff's year. You know, it's his motivator for next season.
You said my name, dude. You said my name. That was motivation enough. I'm ready to make it.
And I'll tell you, from a different kind of perspective, sponsors want you to be mentioned and stuff like that. And Jamie Koza, owner of the Dugout, he watches all these tournaments like a freaking hawk. He's watching my Instagram story. He's keeping up with everything. He texts me and he's like, submit your damn fish so you make the midday update. That's his biggest priority. And I'm like, dude, I have like a 12-inch fish to call. Shut up and I'll submit my fish. Hurry up and get them turned in, boy.
Yeah. That's a legit thing. You know, it makes the fisheries look good. It makes you all look good. It makes everyone's eyes get on that. And you know, that's the beauty about our sport, is it's all on a live leaderboard. When it's essentially as live as it can be. You submit your fish, we get to see it. People are looking at that stuff all day, even if they're not on the live videos. I mean, people are always clicking over to that Tourney X leaderboard and checking it out. It's nice. You can even go all the way through the leaderboard and see everyone all the way down. It's a good system.
And let me get on my soapbox to the local clubs, because there's a few that have gone to turn. Even my local club here have gone to turning off the leaderboard all day. They never turn it on.
No,
I think that's bad mojo, not just for the anglers, but if you put any kind of sponsor logos or whatever on that leaderboard, every click they're seeing that. You know what I mean? It's bringing people back to that leaderboard to see those impressions are important. You know, for people that are supporting your tournament, don't you think, AJ?
I agree with you, man. Like turning it off for an hour at the end of the day while you sort everything out and kind of keeping some suspense for the awards is one thing. Shutting it down for hours or a full day, or like some of these month-long events that I've heard of, like they're shutting it down for weeks, and like it takes away a lot of the excitement for the people fishing it. They don't really know what they're fishing for. They'd love to, and so many times you go in the leaderboard and you're like, oh man, so-and-so just caught another 20. They just jumped me. And then that motivates you to go back out there. Same thing on tournament day. Like when you see that somebody's coming up or they just caught that next big fish, like it's exciting. And all the people that are watching, want to see that too. The sponsors appreciate it. It helps us grow our sport. It's one of those things. It's a special deal. Oh man!
Some comments. We got some nice comments.
I like that. I like that extra kick in the pants too. Like from the angler perspective, when you see like Watts Bar, for instance, like I didn't know. I met Edwin at Seminole. I didn't really know who he was, but when I saw him in first and me in second, I knew at that moment, like I'm gonna beat this little kid. Like I have to, because the leaderboard's on, and I knew like. When it went off, I think I was like a quarter inch behind him or something like that. Made me fish so much harder for that last hour. When if it had been off since noon or something, I wouldn't have even had any idea that I was within 20 inches of the kid at that point, to be honest with you. So I love it being on, but I do like that end of the day, you still aren't really sure where you fell in. You remember who was on the leaderboard. You look at your screenshots and stuff. And then you see who's at awards, and you try to piece together who made what moves and exactly where you landed.
Good stuff.
No doubt. Well, so I got a big announcement before we get to the other big announcement. So today was the deadline for the TOC, and all 50 anglers made it today.
Yes.
I was so impressed. I only had to direct message like 6 people. I almost think that most of those people like look forward to my message in the last like 6 hours of a deadline. They're like, man, I wish AJ would text me. So I'm just not gonna sign up until Scott. I'll call Scotch out because I've already mentioned him. Like I messaged Scotch first thing this morning. He's like, hey man, you got a moment for a chat? So I ended up getting to talk to Scotch for like 15 minutes before 9 a.m. this morning to walk him through how to register without paying on Tourney X.
Shut up.
Press the register button and then don't
my
pay.
Boy.
Yeah.
My boy.
Scotch.
Scotch.
He's a treat, man. I appreciate Scotch. So no roll down, Dylan, not to 52nd, not even to the next one down. So Vinny Ferrari was the last one, and that's where it ended, man. That's where it ended. Charles Shellnut was next up. Big shout out to Charles. He only fished 3 events and did almost. So I know Charles, he's going to look at this schedule for next year and be ready to come back. That's a tough thing. That's a tough thing to finish right out.
You're telling me, AJ.
I said right out, Jeff. Right out.
Ow! Too much truth.
No, it's hard. It's hard. There's some people that have some really good sustained success, and it takes that to get into that, and it's only 19 people, so it's definitely a challenging thing to get to. I like the group this year. There's a lot of names in there of people that like nationally, they're like hammers in their local clubs and do a lot, and they just came out and fished like 1 or 2 events this year and made it happen. That's the beauty about this event is you can come to one event and qualify for the TOC just by kicking 170 other people's tails that day, which is harder to do. But then we've got guys like Nick that won Nick Chabaria from
Dardanelle.
Yeah, he won Dardanelle, and but it was funny because like I'd never heard of Nick, but he had time in Louisiana at a club, and then he was doing things in the club where he lives now, and so he had all this extra grassroots support from 2 different areas, and he's now fishing for $75,000 on Lake Eufaula here, in a few weeks. And there was a few other guys, you know, the Travis that won Champlain, and Brian that won Seminole, and so many other folks that got second and third that are great local anglers, and now they have a chance on the biggest national stage to do it again for the biggest paycheck. So that's exciting this year. You know, the last couple years in the TOC, there was, you know, it seemed to be like almost everybody knew who was in there. And this year, I love to see some fresh names that going into next season, they're going to be like, oh, that's Nick, that's Travis, that's Brian. And it just continues to grow the top, you know, the top anglers in our sport. And it's not like the other top anglers are stepping back, because, you know, like you saw at the end of the year, you know, you got to see, you know, G kind of rise up throughout the year and then finally get his first win ever. And then, you know, same thing with Jay, like, you know, he started slower and then kind of kicked the end of the year's tail and made a good run for him.
And Scotch, you know, you mentioned Scotch earlier. Scotch had an off year, and he literally, you know, just shot a shot there on Pickwick and got into the TOC. I mean, to that point, I think for any angler that's kayak fishing these bigger events, if you have your eyes on a prize, it should be making it into that room at the end of the year. I promise you, it's an experience like nothing else. You know, from the stage to the media coverage, to the gift bags, to the camaraderie, but the people that you're in that room with. And I mean, Pickwick was a great example. When you look at the people that were in the room, you know, cashing checks at Pickwick, that was a majority of the people that you're going to see there at the TOC period. Like, this series is so competitive. Make that your goal at the beginning of the season, because I promise you the reward at the end is more than you're going to find anywhere else.
Yeah. I've been asked this twice already. Sorry, I got to shut up here. But somebody keeps saying tell AJ we appreciate all you do. So AJ, we appreciate all you do. That's been said a couple times in the comments. So
I appreciate you all. I mean, I say it all the time, and it's not like fluff or whatever. Like, it's you guys that motivate me to do this thing and to keep fighting for you guys and to provide opportunities for you all. When you guys show up and roll deep into these events, that's the kind of stuff that really kind of gets me excited. And I appreciate you all. You all, you know, put a lot into coming to these events, travel all over the country. I mean, that was Jeff Sherwood. He rolls in from New Mexico to events. There's nothing that's close to New Mexico. So, you know, appreciate Jeff for the support and everybody. There's so many anglers that, you know, people say being a tournament director is a thankless job. Well, you guys thank me a lot, and I appreciate you all for doing that. You know, it's a time thing. Anybody that's ever been a director of anything understands it's a sacrifice thing. You invest a lot of time for other people. You guys know that, but you guys are worth it. This community is worth it. This sport is worth it, and we're going to keep growing it and keep going.
I love it, and that's what people. Go ahead, Jeff.
No, I said at first thought he was just talking about me and you, Ryan. Then he started talking about everybody.
Well, y'all are part of it. I mean, there's a lot of people. Think about it. There's a lot of people that sacrifice stuff for other hobbies or this sport, or, you know, and yeah, there's incentives there, like, you know, but at the end of the day, like, when you're a director, you're sacrificing stuff for other people, and it could be a coach for a youth team or anything. When you put yourself in that position, you're giving to others, and that's takes a lot. There's a lot of people that do that in a lot of different professions and capacities, and shout out to all those people. Shout out to you guys for doing what you all do. You know, I know you'll have a good time, but you guys invest a lot of time into promoting sponsors and anglers and the sport and events, and you know, it's good to get a pat on the back every once in a while when you're putting in work, you know, because you're not doing it for the pat on the back, you're doing it for all the other reasons.
And I mean, for us, we want to see it grow. We want to see things be the best that they can be from a reward standpoint, you know, be it monetary or angler promotion. But, you know, the professionalism of the tournaments, like, we want to see the sport get to the highest point that it can, because that's what betters everybody. So, you know, for the people that criticize and, oh, you're playing favorites, blah, blah, blah. it's our job to say what we think as anglers. We're fishing these events. There's no one that knows better than the people that are traveling 1,200 miles to go to go fish an event and blow thousands of dollars on the road. I mean, that's who's going to be able to give you the most accurate feedback on these things. Not somebody sitting on the couch watching the advertisements or seeing a sticker on a truck or whatever. And I think that's kind of what really sets the scale of what we push and what we promote. I feel like right now there's not a question that the BOS series is delivering the best product. And I don't apologize for pushing that, because it is. If you want to be the best, do better than that, and we'll push you.
And you know what I like is that I think that other series get the message, and everybody's going to try to improve. They're going to have to. I mean, rising tide lifts all ships, or whatever they say. Competition is good. It's going to push everybody to get better. So we're glad to see it.
Shit or get off the pot. I think that's what they say.
There you go. Yeah, like we said, All Americans. Some of these other places are trying to turn the corner with some of their stuff. So, but like I did this year and many others, BOS is our version of the Elite Series, and we're glad to have it. So we're thankful for what you guys do over there, AJ.
Well, and real quick before we transition to the schedule, because I'm sure there's like a couple people that are curious about that. So like the All American, I messaged Tyler and Josh after last year when Jeremy Mitchell won that kind of the first All American Classic, and I was like, man, you guys nailed it. Like that, you guys killed it. It was awesome. For those that don't know, I mean, some of y'all like started this yesterday. Like the TOC was at Lake Fork for years. And it was really just started as a Texas thing, and then it expanded.
Yak Ford TOC, right
That's,
there, man.
Well, it was even before it. No,
Yeah,
but I see you, man. You got the 7-year-old plaque up there. What place? What place are you in?
No, that's the best finish ever there. It's a 5th place plaque. It's my best finish ever there.
Hell yeah,
Top
man.
5.
That was tough. That was tough tournaments. So like what Bo Reed did, he grew it to other clubs outside of Texas, and all these people came into Texas. And I know there's people in Texas that say, that there was stuff and whatnot, and that's beside the point. It's relevant, but it's beside the point. What he did is he expanded, the grassroots opportunity for a championship, and he worked hard at that. And when we kind of came in and took over what the TOC was from Cody Prather, when it was kind of owned by Yak for it, there was a void there for at least a couple years. And guys like Tyler that won 1 year and went to the Worlds when it was a Worlds qualifier, and then Joshua, who's been to that event too, they knew and they felt that there was a void there, and they literally just said, we're going to do this, and they did it. And it's really cool to see it expand into a larger series and give more folks opportunity to compete at a high level with a really good championship. But if you don't fish that series, if your club is associated with it, you still have an opportunity to go fish this championship by fishing through your club. And that's a really cool opportunity to have. I used to go fish that all the time, fishing with the Bluegrass Yak Masters and the Bluegrass Kayak Anglers, and loved that experience to end the season. So if your club's not involved with the All-American Kayak Series, check it out. Reach out to Tyler, reach out to Josh. It's probably too late for this year, but I'd rather them tell you that for sure. But get involved for next year. Grassroots clubs is where it's about. Give people an opportunity to fish for something more through what they're already doing. And those guys are doing a good job running that. So give big shout out to those guys.
And let me tell you, I went to their first championship last year, the first All-American Classic up there. And that town up there at Truman Reservoir is like many of these other towns where you've had events, AJ. They embrace kayak fishing like you wouldn't believe. They had this was in the middle of COVID. They had the whole community center full. They had the mayor down there, the radio station, the president of the chamber, like principal of the high school. They had everybody in the city down there for the kayak event. They put on a show in the middle of the pandemic last year, so that the town really embraces it too, and they do a great job. So I'll second what you said after being up there and witnessing it. But anyway, I know the people are begging, thirsty for this schedule.
Ooh.
You guys
How you want to
do it?
How you want to do it? You want to throw the whole thing up there and just like that, or you want to talk it out?
We just throw the whole thing up, like do a drum roll, throw the whole thing up there, and then go through the events.
Before we do it, so just so people know, this is just the first 5 events. Hey, there's no He's over here yelling. He's excited
Easy
too.
Boone, easy Boone.
Hey. So there's the first 5 events that we're going to release tonight. It takes us through the start of June. So this isn't the full schedule. There's going to be anywhere from 3 to 4 more events added to this that take us through September. Then we'll have the Tournament of Champions. So this is just the first 5 events. We wanted to go ahead and let you all know as soon as possible. And it probably won't be more than a couple weeks before the rest of the schedule is filled out. But we wanted to drop these first 5 and get the folks excited.
I don't like fishing past June anyway, so I think it's a great start.
Yeah.
These will be the first 5 events I go to.
Virtual drum roll. Here we go.
I wish we had the sound loaded, Jeff.
I know, my bad. Last time I tried to do sound, YouTube banned me for like 2 weeks for using some pirated music.
I know. I remember.
Yeah.
I like to do hood rat stuff with my friends.
All right, guys. Here we go. Boom. There it is.
Oh.
The first 5. That sounds like an NCAA tournament thing. I like it. The first 5. Big stuff. Let's see what the comments are.
I will go ahead and say my apologies to Dylan Lowry. Because I told him I didn't think Eufaula was going to be back on it for next year after the TOC. I was wrong on that. So, and I'm glad to see Chick back on there, man. Obviously, that's in the backyard right next to AJ's crib there. So, this is a good looking little run here. I've never fished Santee Cooper. This will be my first time out there.
There you go, man.
Well, let's start at the top, man. Toledo Bend. It's for some folks, KBF had some opportunities there with a couple different championships in the past. And so some folks got out there. I think Scotch maybe won that event like 3 years in a row or something crazy. But Toledo Bend is just a monster lake, and it's got so many opportunities. It's got a lot of big bass in there, a lot of fish in general, stick-ups, grass, cuts, creeks, cypress. I mean, it's Louisiana, but it's half Louisiana, half Texas. So that's if you're not familiar, it's on the border of Louisiana and Texas. And this is a big push for us to come to Louisiana. I want to give a big shout out to all the guys from Louisiana. They travel hard and come and fish with us. They've got some great folks in that area. And we were excited, and they've got good fisheries in Louisiana too. So we were excited to finally land back on Toledo Bend and start. It's a week later than we've started in the past, but we're starting in a different area of the country than we have in the past. So it's definitely going to have some potential for some big fish. I think that area is going to show out. First event of the year is always a big one. People are excited, so we're starting right there. And like I saw this comment. Well, sometimes the start of the year is a little tough. It can go a couple different ways that time of year, but that's when some of your bigger fish are going to be caught. So happy birthday, Steve.
Man.
Then you
better come to one of these tournaments this year, Steve. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there. I'm not trying to call you out directly, but show up once. Come on, let's go.
We go to Santee Cooper Lakes. That's Lake Marion and Lake Moultrie. And it's another place that has seen some kayak tournaments. We are going to be working with Queen City for that event. They're going to have an event there the first day as well. They're going to bring the heat down there. That's probably, when you look at the schedule, like, to me, that is probably the event where we're going to see the most and the biggest fish turned in. I mean, it's just a powerhouse of a fishery. It's been fishing better the last few years. What do you want to fish? Do you want to fish cypress trees? There's some grass, there's opportunities in that, and there's giant bass. I'm going to say there's probably going to be a 10 or 11 pounder caught in that tournament. And the cool thing about it is there could literally be a 10 or 11 pounder caught in any one of these fisheries in the top 5. They all host big fish. And that's one of those things that gets me excited as a director, knowing that our anglers are going into places with some big old bass. But that's going to be an awesome event in March. I mean, March is the time of year where you want to get out there. Things are happening. If you can find yourself on a good lake that time of year, magic can happen, practice or, during the tournament day. So looking forward to that one. Then we swing to Lake Eufaula, Georgia and Alabama line. Eufaula, Alabama. You guys will get to see it show out for our Tournament of Champions. A lot of times we like to do a 2-year deal with that. So Dylan might have had some inside information. Ryan, I'm surprised he didn't try to hustle you on that one. But
he would never.
But they want those communities, once they buy in, they want to see the championship, and then they want to see the volume. They want to see the anglers come back the following year and come in with the numbers that we can bring to a community. And that should be a really good time on Eufaula. It should be, around the spawn, probably a little post spawn, if not right Deering. I'm not going to pretend to know a thing about that lake, so I'll just say it confidently. But
Dylan, let us know.
I think Eufaula and Seminole are comparable, so you can probably judge one off the other on that one.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll be an interesting event for folks, and definitely show out in the spring, and then we go back to Broken Bow. We were there early last year. If you're not, this is like an hour from the Texas border, an hour from the Arkansas border, like 2 hours from the Louisiana border. Like, this place is so centrally located, and it's a little gem, a really cool tourist town, some amazing cabins. It's definitely the place to bring. You want to bring your partner, your friends, like, come out and hang out. They can do whatever they want during the day. There's tons of stuff for them to do. You go fishing during the day. And
your partner, like your life partner? What are you talking about?
Whatever you call it.
So I'm going to come just for the fact of hearing Joseph Sanderson and Dylan Lowry's two-stepping story from Broken Bow last year. I definitely have that one on the list. I'll go ahead and put an asterisk by Broken Bow. I'm making that drive.
You're coming for the saloon. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. I'll catch a fish. One, probably big bass.
Okay. All right.
But that's about all I'm gonna bring to the table on that one.
And that's the first event where, like, smallmouth might, kind of they might play a little bit. Russ Snyder's won last year. There was some smallmouth caught throughout the weekend. It's definitely one of those places. But it takes us through May, and there's not really much of a smallmouth presence yet on the schedule. Then we turn around. Lake Chickamauga, once again, some of you guys that just started yesterday probably don't remember, but our very first Bass Open Series event was on Lake Chickamauga in February, and it dumped. It dumped the rain. The lake came up, like, it was down at Winter Pool, came up over Summer Pool within like 5 or 6 hours. There were trees, like Jeff Fader almost got hit with a tree fishing around Blue Water Marina, like just fishing the bank.
Pissing on the bank. Tell the whole story. He was pissing on the bank, and a damn tree about fell on my boy. R.I.P. Fader.
We miss it, man. Come on, we can see you. Hopefully, see you soon, Fader. But there were people that were fishing up tributaries, and the water came flowing so hard down it that they couldn't get back up to their ramps, so they had to float down to other ramps. Like, it was the closest we've come to, like, probably maybe canceling a tournament, but it also kind of set the bar high. Like, if we can fish through that at this level of competition, then we're going to probably fish through about anything that isn't, like, just stupid, put our anglers at risk, because you guys are the top of this sport, and, like, you're about as good as it's going to get. So we expect you all to be able to be responsible on the water and handle adverse conditions, because someone's going to overcome it. So that's why we always want our anglers to be safe, but we're also we like to see what anglers can do when Mother Nature throws some curveballs at them. But that's
I'll tell you, a lot of Cali got scared by lightning last year. Like, they saw, apparently they don't have a lot of lightning ever in California. They got spooked off by that. But David Barakfa, I'm pretty sure he caught, like, his biggest fish on his stringer during the little storm that rolled through. But like you said, that's kind of angler responsibility. You got to make sure you can get to cover, you can get to a boathouse, get on the bank, be smart. Pickwick, we had some big ass storms roll through on Pickwick. Day one, the afternoon of day one got nasty, really nasty. But that's fishing. You're out there. This is your tournament. This is when it was scheduled. You kind of have to keep an eye on things, and you see it in MLF tournaments. Guys get up under boat houses. They do. Whatever they have to do to stay safe. But ultimately, that's tournament hours, and that's when you got to catch your fish. So you can't be mad at the scheduling. I don't think AJ has the contact with the Weather Channel, and he'd probably schedule better weather. But
yeah, no doubt. And that's the other thing too. It's like, the California event, there's guys like messaging me, telling me how gnarly it was. And I'm sitting here judging fish with dudes, and they're in the sun holding fish down on their boards. It's like one of those things. It's like we have expansive fisheries. Like, you can go other places. If it looks like it's going to rain in spot A, you should maybe drive to spot B, C, or D, and just salvage that morning. And that it's not any different than if you're fishing bass boat tournaments. You'll go somewhere else because that area is blown out, or it's too windy to fish there, or it's storming on this side of the lake and not on that side of the lake. So it plays into strategy there, and it's hard to punish the anglers that take advantage of that for the anglers that aren't. When you're looking at that, a lot of these storms are pop-up showers and things like that. And same thing at Pickwick, the upper end up by middle and upper end of the lake, we're getting hammered, and it's sunny and beautiful down at the lower half at the dam. It was just one of those weird storm things. But we always look at that. We want our anglers to be safe, but we also expect you all to be responsible and don't put yourself at risk. I can't be with every one of you on the water. If you're uncomfortable with your situation, by all means, don't go out into those situations.
And that some of the lakes we've already announced here, for instance, Toledo Bend is what, 100 miles long, 75 miles long, something like that. It's giant from one end to the other. So
yeah, it's huge. We'll look at the boundaries at these events. What we want to do, this year is to get the event write-ups and stuff up for every event. A little earlier for you guys. Appreciate y'all's patience with me this year, but that's going to be our goal in the off season, is to have every event built on the web page, with boundaries and stuff like that. So you guys are aware of that kind of, going in. We always try to get it to you a month out, but I know some of you all look at that stuff 7 months in advance and stuff. And I respect that hustle, but man, it's hard to keep up with the demand on some of that stuff. So, just so you guys know what's going on, we are going to, like I said, come out with 3 to 4 more open events that'll take us through September. We're kind of getting those finalized right now. There's going to be a couple river events, a couple lake events. There's some areas that you can look at that don't have anything right now that we always go to. Odds are we're probably going to those areas. We want to go to the areas that support us the best, and that are easiest for as many people to get safe.
Some good comments coming in. I want to thank everybody for sharing this tonight. I know we're doing the Throwing Shades giveaway. We got 59 shares of the live stream tonight, Ryan.
Really?
I know we can get 60 before this is over. And we've got
one more person share.
I know we got a pretty good audience on YouTube tonight, so we appreciate y'all on YouTube. Could I get some YouTube comments? And I'll pick a YouTube comment as well, and we'll send you a little pack of a shirt and some stuff from
swag
as well.
A little swag.
We'll do the glasses on Facebook and a little swag on YouTube. I'm gonna help you out. And if you're listening to this on the audio podcast later, we appreciate you over there too. It's been a fun night. Heck of a first 5, AJ, man. It's impressive.
What do you guys think? Last year, Seminole was by far our biggest event, season opener, good fishery. Now we're looking at Toledo Bend being our season opener. I think Toledo Bend, if Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana decide to show out like those states can, because those big volume states, a lot of amazing anglers in those areas. So if they all show out, and then our normal travelers from around come in, I think Toledo Bend can go so hard to start the tournament season off. But I'm gonna tell you what, and it's not just because of Vinny. I know he's watching. Well, it might be past Vinny's bedtime, but it's
he's putting his gel in his hair for tomorrow. He got to work tomorrow. Chill out.
I think Santee Cooper with Queen City is going to be huge. I think that people want to fish that lake. The timing's right. There's so many folks in those regions that show out for tournaments that are great anglers, and I think some other people are going to come out. I think those events are going to be probably our two biggest.
So
Matt,
Tim Arthur made a
175.
comment. I will go ahead and promise you a kayak at any of the first 5 events, Tim Arthur. Pick one of those, fly your little soft ass out from California. I'll bring you a kayak. You can fish them. I'm planning on making the first 5. I mean, just seeing that up front, I'll go ahead and tell you I will be at every one of those on the first 5.
Ooh,
Great job, AJ. Amazing fisheries. I think Toledo has a lot of potential. Obviously, it has monster bass. I think you'll be catching that pre-spawn bite there, and I'm hoping we get to see some big bags turned in. If somebody will please shoot me a DM of like the best little shithole bar on Toledo would be great, so I can go ahead and start planning my February trip for Valentine's Day. Thank you. Good looking out.
Can you guys answer, is this Bluegrass Bodybuilding and Fitness? Is that Jay Wallen's YouTube, or who is that right there?
It's like keto-based fitness, except different.
Oh, okay. Appreciate you, Bluegrass.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some Kentucky love coming up, but it's going to be 23. So we've already got 4 events locked in for 2023 also.
Wow.
So we're just we're just working over here. Oh, is that Jake's numbers?
He's throwing the numbers up.
What's he talking about?
I don't know.
He's guessing 145 Toledo Bend, Santee Cooper 148, 130 for Eufaula, Broken Bows 102.
Jake, bro, go back to making some ass shaking TikTok videos and quit trying to guess numbers, player. Stick to your strengths. Charge your walkie-talkie batteries. Get back on it. All right. Come on.
Jake's saying we're gonna take a hit next year.
What?
Jake don't know shit.
Man.
Jake Harshman. Oh, we're up to 74 shares, Ryan. You guys are blowing it out of the water. My God. Yeah, we'll pick somebody over there on YouTube as well after the fact.
Hey, I know, you and Tim and occasionally I'll step in there and go back and forth a little bit. But I will say the last time Tim had a boat available to him for the TOC that he qualified for in Arkansas, he wasn't able to come. So I hope that I hope this year he'll be able to come. But no, that was all those California guys. A few of them our boats and flew in that year, and they did the same thing. And I know that there's parts of the country that would love to see us come back, and hopefully that'll happen down the road. I know it's all fun and games. We go back and forth, but it's definitely a challenging thing when you don't go to the places that folks want you to come. There's a lot that goes into all that stuff. So understand, but we'll look forward. You guys, anybody that wants to come to an event, just make a post out there. This community is amazing. There's always a few extra boats at these events. There's dealers that loan boats that are close to these events. It's not hard to get a boat to fish one of these events if you want to. You just got to kind of stick your neck out there a little bit, and somebody's gonna step in for you, because that's the kind of community that we have.
And I would love to see the Cali guys come out. Used to the national championship, we did the Ship House crew. Adam, Abel, Cody. I mean, we'll even let Tim come close to us. But New Dave, I mean, I want all the Cali guys to fly out. Pick an event. Let's make a big deal out of it. You guys come out. I'll line the boats up. Let's get the crew back together one time.
That sounds good.
Good stuff.
I'll get to see you guys at check-in.
Yeah, no. What's up with that, AJ? We need to start making stuff
Can
happen.
you hang out with us? Like, remember we used to throw cornhole till like the wee hours of the morning and whatnot. Let's do that when we're done.
Yeah, it's pre-tournament festivities, man. Once we get into tournament,
can we get a stunt double? Can we get a stunt double for AJ so you could be a person?
Man, that'd be
all right. I won't tell. Wear a mask. I won't even tell who you are. Be anonymous.
I don't know, man. People used to, how else? They always used to think that anybody that I was hanging out with after hours was getting all sorts of special treatment. So I just shut it down.
Well,
hang out with me. I'm never in the top 10 anyway.
Then they saw me roll up to the ramp and Donnie Bennett pull his kayak cover back with Yingling bottles broken all inside it. And they realize it's actually probably a detriment if you're with the people that are hanging out after hours.
Yeah, man. Hey, I know we've been going about an hour. We can go all night long for all I care. But before we go, I wanted to talk about the upcoming TOC in case we don't have AJ back on. I don't know if AJ can talk like this and make his kind of picks, but I know Ryan and I can kind of make our predictions on who we might think might take the title. You want to do that real quick? Touch on a little bit of TOC before we go, AJ? Is that all right?
I'd love to. Let's end this show with the way that we're going to end this awesome season, getting some TOC action.
All right. I'll give you my picks for it personally that I'm watching for before you guys go. Since Ryan's in it, AJ's running it. Of course, I'm going for my partner here. Ryan brims with confidence. I'm pulling for him to go back to back. If it's not Ryan, I got my money on probably the hottest guy down the stretch, riding that momentum, Juicy J. Wallen. And then my sleeper pick, coming straight out of my club, Justin Brewer, finishing top 3 at Broken Bow. Dude is a straight hammer. He doesn't travel much, but I'm telling you, watch out for Justin Brewer out there. That's my 3.
I'm going to say, I think dude, we talk about momentum. Ewing's had a hot hand this year, a hot freaking hand. I have a hard time thinking he's going to finish outside of the top 5 in this deal. I think Big Stick Hal, I think you'll probably see him in the top 5 as well. Baby brother Jordan Marshall, it's hard to count him out anywhere. That sucker, I mean, he finds fish. He's great at it. And then Russ Snyder's, Russ Snyder's didn't he win the Bassmaster event down there earlier on Eufaula this year? So I think you have to put his name in the conversation. And I bought David Lowry's boat, so I think that comes with some mojo, and he catches the shit out of fish on Eufaula. So I'm literally just banking on the fact that his boat's in my garage. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Let me make up with Taylor. She said she flipped a table when I didn't mention BDH. BDH, I'm on record as saying BDH is still my pick for the Angler of the Year. I still think he's going to catch Edwin and win AOY, Taylor. So hopefully I saved myself.
Taylor, I want you to remember who did pick BDH, and it was this guy right here. Okay? You're welcome.
Yeah. It's hard to pick. I mean, there's so many. All 50 of the anglers in this thing could win it. I mean, it's unbelievable field. So I know we're kind of cherry picking here, but what are your thoughts, AJ?
I'm not going to make any picks or anything like that because, there's because
you're judging the fish.
I'm fairly involved. But I will say to not mention the reigning Angler of the Year, Drew Gregory, for this event, I think is a mistake. I think that he has come in at the end of the year. He's put him in a very strong position for the Angler of the Year race again. And he's probably going to have a good event on Eufaula because that's essentially everything he does at any tournament is have a good tournament. He's going to have fresh off another kid. He's going to be feeling refreshed. He's going to come down there and hammer.
That helps you? Wait a minute.
Listen, I will tell you why I didn't pick Drew Gregory. And I think Drew Gregory is an amazing angler, and he finds his water in a lot of different scenarios. That river section of Eufaula was cut out. And I'm not saying I'm mad at you, AJ, but
he's mad at you.
But I mean, I think that's going to hurt probably a prime time area that I think Drew would have he would have wrecked shop in. And I thank you for cutting that out. So good job.
I know that it's easy for you to say that, but I feel like if you relied on every fishing advice that Dylan Lowry's ever given you about
a shit, no. So I'll tell you how I got here. I relied on 0 fishing advices Dylan Lowry's ever given me. That's why I'm going to the TLC this year, boys.
No, I think Drew's somebody that that is a threat anytime he enters an event. And, I will throw out a couple other names just as people to watch. I think if it's an offshore bite, I think folks like Jim Ware and Adam Reiser, those dudes can catch fish in deep water. They almost embrace that opportunity. There's some opportunities on Eufaula on deep brush piles for people to absolutely wreck them. I'll tell you somebody that is always up there, but maybe hasn't had the best end of the seasons. Cody Milton. Cody Milton's a hammer. G has been rising up at the end of the year. I'm sure he's going to have a good event. Christine's out there. You got, Brian Delahunty and Kate that have actually got to have some time on the water before the cutoff. So there's so many anglers, that have an opportunity at this. But I think that there's a lot of anglers that we didn't mention that are probably going to be the ones that get in there. We pay out 10 places, $75,000. First place is $35,000. We have published the full pay scale on hobiebos.com. You can go check it out. Second place is $10,000. I mean, it's a deal. And it's 3 days. It's something that most of the people in this field have never done. You know, there's been essentially one or two other 3-day tournaments, but there is not a cut. So all 50 anglers have to fish the third day also. So you have to catch them for 3 days. It will matter to be who's in our top 10. It will matter for who takes home the Far Wide Angler of the Year. Catching fish 3 days in a row is something that most people never have to do in a tournament setting. So it'll be really interesting to see how it shakes out on Eufaula.
Yeah,
I just saw Taylor's comment.
3 day.
I saw Taylor's comment that you put up, Jeff. I just want to take back everything nice I said about Brian Howell. So I've taken him out of my top 5. I'll replace him with Drew Gregory.
Wasn't rooting for you all of a sudden.
Yeah, dang. Hey,
I think Kurt Smits is due for one.
Yeah. You gotta keep an eye on Kurt, son.
You know, I think I don't know if there's a person coming in that is like more mentally motivated than Vinny seems to be. Last man in, he was so jacked up. Any of those dudes from the Queen City, Matt Hodge, Adam Fillmore, the Corey, like those dudes in that group are hammers, and they don't.
I will tell you this with confidence: I'm going to clap Vinny Ferreri and Adam Fillmore. Those are two people that will not be higher than my name on the finishing list. I'll go ahead and put that out there. We can make a side bet.
All right, I like it. See, between three of us, we've worked through like 30 to 35 people already. So,
somebody's got to get it right. Somebody's got to get it right.
Now, here's the deal. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have, a couple photographers, a couple video opportunities on the water. We will be filming Hobie Outdoor Adventures. We'll feed the anglers 3 of the 4 nights that we're meeting. We'll give them one night that they can go have something else to eat and enjoy the town. But we do cover the meal for all anglers for 3 of the nights. And, you know, the CEO of Hobie is coming out for the weekend to be a part of it. Didn't mention Jody Queen. We didn't mention Matt Ball. Didn't mention Ron Champion. We didn't mention a lot of people. It's the top 50. It's stacked. Everybody in that group, Sleeper Tim Isaacs coming in. I mean, there are so many people. And then we didn't mention any of the people that have won events already this year. Some of the guys that we mentioned earlier. So it's definitely a stacked field. And it's like there's 2 competitions going on. You have the tournament for $75,000, but then you also have the Far Wide Angler of the Year race. And so folks that don't know about how the points work, essentially every event all year's out of 100 points, and you have a 1-point decrement. So if you get first, it's 100. If you get second, it's 99. Well, in this event, it's a 2-point decrement out of 100 points. So first is 100, but second is 98. Third is 96. So it can really be a different deal. Like if you're 10th place in an open event, you get 91. If you're 10th place in this event, it's like, I don't know, subtract, you know what I'm saying. It's
180.
It's some different numbers. Is the deal.
Yeah. So it's a little bit weighted in that capacity, and it kind of makes the anglers that are competing against each other on that same water have to literally beat each other on that water. And last year, Jody Queen and Russ Snyder's were blowing everybody away in the Angler of the Year race, and they both stumbled a little bit in that event, and it opened up the opportunity for Drew to get up there and win. Jordan got second, Ron got third. I think Christine jumped into fourth. So people that were in like the 7th to 10th range that had really good tournaments were able to do that. And I think we're going to see that. When you start looking at the point variance in the top 10 of our Angler of the Year race, all those people are in there, but they all have to finish a certain amount of places above Ewing. So he's put himself in that position through an amazing season. Did you mention Ewing? You threw Ewing's name out there, right?
He's too young.
Nope.
He'll get mentally shook in 3 days.
I'm gonna make sure he gets shook. I'm personally gonna ensure that he is shook, guaranteed.
We didn't throw Jackson Orr's name out there. He got second in the NC.
He's gonna be shook too.
Last year.
Jackson's in college now. Jackson is in college. He is already shook. We're good. We're fine.
That's the crazy thing, man. This TOC, just like a lot of championships, but not like a lot of championships because it's only 50 people. Whoever's up there come, day 3, it's not going to really be a shock to whoever that top 5 is. Everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, okay, right. Of course they're up. Of course they're up there.
It's not an accident. There's a few dudes. Like he worked hard to get here.
Yeah. There's a few dudes though. I'm telling you, like there's some guys that didn't get in by qualifying top 3. They got in on points. They were middle of the pack all year. They're from like kind of obscure areas. People don't know some of the folks in this event, and I really hope folks like that are able to show up and have an opportunity in that event because it's just a good story. And that's the kind of stuff when you work hard to get to something, and then when you get there, you actually have success in that position. It's just so rewarding.
That'd be cool. So, everybody loves an underdog story, so that would be awesome.
There's a few of those, but essentially everybody that we just mentioned is not considered an underdog. So there's about 7 of them in the tournament that might.
My underdog's Justin Brewer. That's who I picked. My local guy. He's coming. He's coming in hot for Eufaula. But man, what an awesome show! I'm so glad we got to do this tonight.
Appreciate it
after all the craziness of the day. I'm glad we got to do this tonight. That was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you all, supporting this series the way that you do. I'm sure that everybody, likes to throw, jabs in here and there, but, essentially this series, this podcast, KBN all started because there were opportunities to do things better. And, we kind of come in with that mindset. It's like this sport deserves some new and better opportunities. There's other great opportunities, but there was room for some growth, and let's keep growing. I appreciate you guys doing this. We're excited to get to share our schedule with you all first and your your group, and we'll get it posted on our group page and our website sometime in the next day or so. And it won't be long before we fill out the end of the schedule. And there's going to be, I was telling Jeff, there's going to be 2 events that we've places we've been to, and 2 that we haven't, or at least 1 that we haven't. We're on that 3 or 4 events deal. It is still going to be your best 3 events in the TOC for next year. So, everybody's going to want to find at least 3 events to go to, but probably like 5. 5 is like that magic number, I think.
Or 7.
Yeah, 7's good too. Just take 1 off. Right now, the way it sits is it's just 1 a month. I know some of them are like 3 weeks apart, but they're kind of separated. It's like when you look at that run from Eufaula to Chick, it's the end of April, and then it's mid-May is when we go out to Broken Bow. So a lot of folks that are fishing, man, you're throwing it up too quick. I can't read stuff.
Jeff's crazy. Don't worry about him. He's wild.
He saves them for like 5 minutes and then throws them all at you and like.
Yeah,
it's like an hour past my bedtime, y'all. Come on.
I agree. You're right.
But no, it's we kind of go back and forth. So you have an opportunity, like if you're on the central part of the kind of the schedule, you've got some time in between those events. If you're on the southeastern side, and if you're living in like Georgia, like you are in a great spot for those 3 southeastern events. So I think Georgia and South Carolina and Tennessee, and hopefully some folks in Alabama. Like I keep hearing how good anglers are in Alabama, and there's not too many of them that come out and hang out with us too much. So
they don't like fishing national events. They like to talk a lot more than they like to fish. So that's one of the tricks with Alabama.
But there's some good ones there. One of these days, hopefully, we have our championship there. We'll be back there for an open next year. We didn't have an Alabama event this season, so maybe that's the problem. We're coming back to Alabama next year, so we'll see you guys out there, and looking forward to it.
We appreciate you coming on, AJ. Killer first 5. I can't wait to see the rest of the schedule. Like I said, I'll be at the first 5 for sure. We will be doing live coverage on the water, some podcasts. I mean, we're going to keep it, pumping up. Like I want to see this thing grow. I want to see more eyes on it. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So thank you for everything that you're doing for us.
Thank you guys. We'll look forward to seeing.
We're not done yet. We got to give away some stuff real quick.
Oh shit! Well, all right. My apologies, AJ. I take all that back. I didn't mean to thank you
AJ,
so early.
hang on. Save your goodbyes for just a second. I got to give away 2 things. First, the swag pack on YouTube goes to Andrew Middlebrooks. You commented on the YouTube and you were selected. So message me and I will get you some gear. And then the big Throwing Shades Monday giveaway, pair of Revos, just like Ryan has on his head there. Best lenses on Earth. Right. Best lenses on the planet. Matt Frentress.
Hey, I like
the great state
Matt,
of Texas.
I like old Matt. That's old black.
Hit me
gloves.
up, Matt. Yeah, hit me up, Matt, and we'll get you a code to get some glasses.
Good deal.
So
Boone,
there we
good
go.
seeing you, player. Congrats
there
on the big win, Kentucky.
Yes, sir. Big Blue Nation.
It's way past Boone's bedtime. That's the most movement he's had in 2 hours.
Same,
right,
brother.
anyway.
I'm going to go try to fight Yogi Bear tomorrow, so I'm going to see y'all hopefully next week.
Yeah. AJ, thanks again, brother. That was fun. Glad it all worked out tonight.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, looking forward to wrapping up 21. TOC is going to be lit for sure. And then, I'm going to take a nice couple months off before we get rolling in February.
Heck yeah.
Smart.
All right. Ryan, stay safe. Don't get eaten tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'll try not to.
We're gone. Thanks, everybody.
See y'all.
Thanks, guys.